Hi, my dearest of family. Today we are going to be talking about Black Moon Lilith in the sign of Libra. Basically, Black Moon Lilith is going to be entering the sign of Libra on 29th of June 2024, and it's going to be there until the end of March 2025, to be precise, the 27th of March. So we will explore the meaning of this a little bit on a personal level as well as on a mundane level, because obviously this is going to be a little bit of a longer transit. So it's going to be affecting all of us, right? And I'm also going to be talking to you about in this video some of the conjunctions that Black Moon Lilith in Libra is going to be making. Obviously, those could be quite prominent times. First of all, let's start with some of the keywords of Black Moon Lilith in case you don't know what it is. But if you are curious about Black Moon Lilith, I did a 3 or 4 part of webinar series on it where I introduce what it means in certain signs, the meaning of Lilith, the 3 types of Lilith, because actually we've got 3 types of Lilith in your chart, and so on. So if you want, it's in a bundle, it's discounted, so go and check it out. I think Lilith is extremely important, for example, in relationship departments. So I was really focusing on that. Now, let's get started. Some of the keywords. Oh, and one more announcement. I've got 4 places left on my Ultimate Predictive course. This is going to be a 1-year course. I'm going to be teaching you at least 25 different types of timing techniques. This should be taking your astrological business or your journey a lot further. But there are some requirements. You need to be able to understand planets, signs, houses, aspects. This is the bare minimum. You need to be somewhat comfortable of being able to read a natal chart, because without reading the natal chart, you are not going to be good at forecasting either. So that's the only requirement. This course is going to start in the second part of July. So as I said, the 3rd group is almost full. We have got 4 places left available. So check it out, and I hope to see you there. So let's get started. Black Moon Lilith. So I'm just going to give you keywords here. It could represent extreme energies in our chart. It could represent painful relationships, but also someone who is rebellious, someone who is sexy, someone who seduces someone. Usually it is kind of like a little bit of a blind spot in our personality. It is the anti-happiness point of our chart. Often what happens with Lilith is that this is the rebellious woman, pretty much. It's a demonic energy. Everyone was afraid of her. She was the first wife of Adam, who left Adam because of certain matters, actually. And some of the reasons were due to sexuality questions. But secondly, there was a lack of equality as well between them too. So she decided to leave. And unfortunately, the god, Zeus, kind of punished her, killed her children, and so forth. And then she promised that she would take revenge on every single man, let them suffer, because a man made her suffer as well. So that would be the idea there. Now, Lilith position in your chart shows loads of ups and downs. Wherever it is placed in your natal chart, by house or sign, it could show you ups and downs. But also at the same time, this is representation of rejection, anger, rage, kind of like the subordinate or the dominant type of energy. So who is having power over me? So I would say that these are some of the keywords that might be extremely important to mention with Black Moon Lilith. On top of that, obviously, Black Moon Lilith is in the sign of... the other thing I would like to mention, there are 2 major Black Moon Lilith, actually. We've got... What is Black Moon Lilith? It's actually a calculated point. It is the apogee, the highest point of the moon. This is happening when the moon is the farthest point away from the Earth in its orbit. So you can check the mean or the true Lilith. The true is actually showing you the actual position of Black Moon Lilith, where it is in the sky, and the mean is more of a calculation again, and it is calculated based on its average speeds. Which one you want to be using, the mean Lilith or the true Lilith? It's completely up to you. So I'm not going to tell you whether one is better or not. But Black Moon Lilith also can show you in your chart where you need to be standing up for your own rights. As I said, she was the first wife of Adam, and because she wanted to be on top of Adam, he didn't want to allow that. She decided to stand up for herself, and eventually she left the Garden of Eden. And therefore she wanted to somehow embrace her own power. She wanted to be equal to Adam. So often we experience also injustice where Lilith is actually placed in our chart. So Black Moon Lilith was in the sign of Virgo, and if we really think about the fact that Virgo is not necessarily someone who is going to scream out loud or being so rebellious about something or standing up for their own rights, they just get on well with their work, with their responsibilities and duties, and so forth. However, it is entering the sign of Libra, which is one of the signs that are connected to justice. So, most likely, this is about speaking up. This is about letting someone know that, you know what, I feel like you are not treating me well. I feel like we are not, for example, in a equal partnership. Of course, Libra is a little bit more on the subtle side. It doesn't necessarily want to be getting into certain type of arguments and so forth. So it doesn't do things in an aggressive way, though. Firstly, it tries to use the charm, the personality, kind of like making compromises. But when they become kind of like a pushover, Libra is one of the violent signs, by the way. They have got four of those. Then it starts, being kind of louder, especially when someone refuses to compromise, to negotiate, and so forth, when there is a lack of diplomacy going on. So we might see, for example, in the world, there are going to be negotiations and then negotiations again, and the third negotiations and so forth. But we don't get from one to two. And then we start kind of like being louder and louder with the other person. So also this could talk to you about that you have got a certain type of concern about something. For example, as I said, unfair treatment or someone is kind of like showing injustice and so forth. So this is about fairness. And then when you see that someone is getting treated unfairly and so forth, then you get outrageous with Lilith in the sign of Libra. And then you're going to go and then you are going to be trying to protect them. Of course, one of the meanings of Libra is a relationship. So here, this is going to be very important in the next 7, 8 months to kind of find balance of what I give and what I receive in the relationship. And it's not just romantic relationship, but pretty much your alliances, it's something to do with your business partnerships and so forth. It might be the case that you want your partner to step up their game and the relationship a little bit. Actually, this could talk to you about intimacy issues in the relationship as well. Or it could talk to you about having a business partner and then you feel like they are not pulling their way. And then you need to be able to have that conversation that I feel like I put more work into this business than you do. So let's get going. Libra also is ruled by Venus. So we might be seeing something to do with, female rights, for example, or just overall the rights of people. Now, generously speaking, I want to give you some hints and tips about Lilith in the sign of Libra, because especially um, if you have got, let's say, a Lilith return, that this is going to be affecting your relationship quite significantly. So let's see. So when we have got Lilith in the sign of Libra, then this is about, I want you to like me. I want you to love me. But I also don't want you to see me kind of like as a beautiful object. I want you to see the other side of me as well, which might be intelligence, for example. Of course, at the beginning, as I said, confrontation is going to be a little bit of an issue, or the ability to make a decision. So some of you might need to be able to make a decision about something, but you are postponing that. You are a little bit more on the cautious side, because, of course, Libra is a little bit about people pleasing, but Lilith does not want to please anyone, right? So it's going to kind of like daring you to do something that you would otherwise wouldn't do, especially if it is falling somehow in your relationship houses, which is the fifth, seventh, or the eighth house. Or if you're single, this Lilith could actually indicate that you fall in love with the idea of love. You want to be seducing someone, and you would be having the opportunity to do so actually. I need to feel that someone wants me, someone who is maybe going to be in a competition for my grace. And maybe I cannot tolerate if someone says no to me. So I'm going to be trying to seduce them as much as possible. Also, it could indicate that if a guy kind of like humiliates themselves just to be in your grace, then it could be something that you actually pretty much like as well. Now, Lilith in the sign of Libra often actually represents some type of love triangle as well, and even it could represent possessiveness too. So if you feel like that your partner is a little bit more possessive or you are possessive towards them, then this could be something that you guys gonna have to talk about. The other topic that might be popping up for plenty of you is jealousy. Or you can have that type of idea that every single man wants the same stuff. If it's in a male's chart, then actually one of the kind of like complexes for a man could be that every single woman is pretty much of a biatch. Every single woman just wants money. So we can have these type of complexes, and maybe we're gonna have to work these through during the next 7, 8 months. By the way, Libra Lilith also represents the Oedipus complex as well in psychology. So it's basically the phallic stage of the psychosexual development. And this is something to do with the feelings of desire for the opposite sex parent. And then we're going to start having some type of competition with the same sex parent as well. Obviously, at this stage, the child becomes aware of their anatomical sex differences. And every single child goes through these conflicts. So this could be a conflicting type of energy while Lilith is in the sign of Libra. In your relationships, within yourself as well, though. So it's very important to remember, because Libra is not just a representation of another person, but it's the other you as well at the same time. So, for example, if you are a lady and listening to this video, watch out because this Lilith could send you on a shopping spree, for example. Or you might want to be attending certain type of social events or certain type of parties, or we can become a little bit more on the attention seeker side as well. And maybe you're going to be having some really great male friends popping into your life as well. Actually, it could be the representation of you getting along with men a lot better than females, for example. If it's in a male's chart, then this could really talk to us about that the man treats us like a female, treats a female like they are here to serve my needs. A woman is here to be pretty and good looking and so forth, and then, cooking dinner, for example, and so forth. So that's a possibility there too. I tend to be calling this position, by the way, as the Bridget Jones syndrome. Uh, if you ever watch that film, it's okay, I kind of like it. But if you remember, she has got two guys and that they are fighting for each other, and then she cannot really make up her mind which one to go with, and then she even gets pregnant. She does not have a clue who the father is, and then playing some type of games. So that's a typical Lilith in Libra position. So that's pretty much very briefly, though, very briefly, what Black Moon Lilith in Libra is going to be affecting us. Now, let's have a look at some of the aspects Black Moon Lilith is going to be making. So, for example, it's going to be making a conjunction on 4th of September to Venus. So September could be quite a pivotal moment in the Libra part of your chart. And therefore, the topic of relationships, alliances, female matters, equality, the justice system, and so forth can get quite boosted there, especially because Venus is the ruler of Libra. So that's going to be quite a pivotal moment, I would say. And you might want to be taking a note of that. Then we're going to have a conjunction to Mercury as well, and that's going to be at the beginning of. By the way, the Venus and Lilith conjunction is going to be taking place on 7 degree of Libra. So if you have got any planet between 5 to 9 degree of Libra, then this is going to be affecting you quite significantly. Then Black Lilith is going to be making a conjunction to Mercury on the 2nd of October, and that's going to be on 10 degree of Libra. So, of course, Mercury is the representation of communication. So maybe if you have got any planet around there, then you are going to be having to stand up for yourself, standing up for your own rights, or having maybe a uncomfortable conversation with someone as well. And by the way, Lilith is going to be illuminated by the sun as well. And actually, it's going to be happening on the 3rd of October. So, you know what? That's kind of like definitely the need to make a certain type of conversations with someone. It's going to get highlighted whether this alliance, business partnership, and relationship work for us or not. But one of the most important one is going to be a Black Moon Lilith conjunction to the South Node. And that's going to be happening right at the end of August, 30th of August, and it's happening on 6th degree. And that's going to be, or let's put it this way, it's going to be happening between at the end of August and the first couple of weeks of September. So of course, having Black Moon Lilith conjuncting the South Node means that it's going to be opposing the North Node as well. So while the North Node represents something that we are unaware of, something that we need to be moving towards to, it's pretty much of our evolutionary process and development point of our chart. We need to learn about this. The South Node is something that we have already learned about previously. We already are aware of what to expect. So this conjunction is pretty much indicating that something it's not it might look shocking to you, but it shouldn't be shocking because you know something about it. The South Node is often a comfortability point of our chart. So it's very possible that it's the realization that we have become too comfortable in a relationship, for example, and it needs to be, you know, kind of like stirred up a little bit to make it a little bit more exciting. And that could be the intimacy department, for example, or just the way how we connect with our partner. And of course, the reason why it's very important is because Venus is going to be making that conjunction to the South Node as well. So there is some type of issues that we need to be um, resolving. Maybe it's the fact that you are struggling with certain type of commitments. So why am I unable to commit to someone and so forth? Also, Black Moon Lilith was in the sign of Libra because it has got a 9-year orbital period. So every 9 years, it's going to be approximately in the same sign. So the very last time it happened was 2015 August to 2016 May. So you might be, you can go back and then look at what was going on around that time in your life, because it doesn't mean it's going to be repeating though, but there's a possibility that certain type of themes are going to be popping back into your life. So guys, pretty much that's what I wanted to talk to you about in regards to Black Moon in the sign of Libra. As usual, I will be breaking this down for my YouTube members, and I'm going to break it down to each sign so you have got a little bit of a guidance of how to deal with this. See you soon. Bye-bye.